Hey guys. I had a little bit of time before I have to go pick up my kids at school, and um, today is August 23rd. I'm working from home currently. We are on a shutdown due to a COVID positive result in my classroom. I'm a preschool teacher, and so we're shut down for this week for 10 days. So our 10 days started Friday. So I can't go back until next Monday. But I just wanted to sit down because I've not really gotten to share anything about my pregnancy with Emrey or my labor and delivery. And I wanted to share it, especially during COVID time right now, because every day I get on the internet and either a mom, pregnant mom, or a baby has died. And I just wanted to share my experience and let you know kind of what happened during my pregnancy and then during my labor and delivery and afterwards, just to give y'all an insight. A lot of people don't know, and a lot of people just saw my post that said, we're okay, we're alive, can't elaborate right now, we'll share my story eventually later. Well, it's been since May, so Emery's about to be 4 months old, so I figured I might want to share my story. So let me back up to August when I found out I was pregnant. I found out at the end of August. My first doctor's appointment was September the 23rd. I don't know why I can remember dates like this very well, but I can. This pregnancy was planned. I wanted to have a baby in May when we got out of school, so I'd have all summer with her and not have to worry about daycare and that kind of thing. So we did plan this pregnancy. It did work out this time, the first time that we tried. And I used ovulation test and pregnancy test. I bought them off Amazon. They're just the little bitty strips that you use, and it shows lines on it. And it progresses on the ovulation test. As you get closer to ovulation, you get a darker line. And then for pregnancy test, of course, it gives the 2 lines. So I used those and found out I was pregnant in August. Went in September. Little Emrey had a heartbeat. She was right on schedule. Everything was good during my pregnancy. With my pregnancy with Inslee, I was a Zumba instructor, so I worked out twice a week at least and watched what I ate, drank more flavored water, tried to drink less sugary stuff. So I was really cautious in my pregnancy with her. This one, I was a little bit more lax. I still watched what I drank and what I ate, but didn't work out. My job was to work out enough, and so I kind of got lax in that kind of thing. So, needless to say, I only gained 25 pounds when I was pregnant with Inslee. This time I gained 40 pounds. Maybe a little less than that, 35, but it was close to 40 pounds. So I had a lot harder time in this pregnancy. I was kind of mad at myself for letting myself get lax and not worrying about what I ate and how much weight I gained. And so it definitely took a toll in the end. So all of my my sugar test came back good. I failed the 1 hour one, but the 3 hour one went well. My blood pressure was good the whole time. What else? I had a really good pregnancy besides the fact of gaining too much weight. And every time I went back, I would ask, are my levels good? Are my numbers good? Is everything good? And they were always saying yes, yes. And so October the 26th, I believe, but it was that week, I ended up being positive for COVID last year when I was pregnant. I thought I had the flu. I went to work that day, felt fine. All of a sudden, midday, started getting cold, started getting achy, and I was like, man, the flu is already here. This is crazy. I really did not think I had COVID because, we were not going anywhere. We weren't doing anything. I went to work, and that was about it. So went to the doctor, thought I had the flu. Sure enough, had COVID. So that was really hard for me because I was scared of the unknown, because a lot of doctors and researchers didn't know what COVID did to pregnant women. So I went through that. I was sick maybe 2 days. Then Tim ended up getting it he obviously already had it, but Friday he went to get tested before he went back to work. He was positive. So he had to stay home and quarantine, and he was bad. He was up and down. One day he'd be good, the next day he wouldn't move off the couch. It was really bad, and he was like that for 3 weeks. It was scary because he really couldn't do anything. And I was pregnant, and I was not that far along, so I could do things, but it was sad to watch him. And then I had to go back to work, and Ainsley was pretty much under quarantine the whole month of November, and that was her birthday, so she didn't have a birthday party. We missed Halloween. It was so sad. So then my parents ended up getting it right before Christmas. So then they had to quarantine away from us, and luckily it was when, we were on Christmas vacation, so I didn't have to have school for the girls, or for Inslee, and so it was bad. So let me fast forward a little bit. So everything was good my whole pregnancy. Just gained a lot of weight. Got tireder and just was feeling blah. So when it started getting around that time for me to deliver, my due date was originally May 11th, I believe. And when it started getting closer to time, I was induced with Inslee. Not because I wanted to necessarily, but because I'd already gone over 40 weeks. So she wanted to induce me. So we went through that with Inslee, and everything went good. My water, she broke my water. I didn't feel it. Got my epidural. I didn't feel it. I pushed her out. I didn't feel it. Got stitched up. Didn't feel it. So everything was good. She came out perfectly healthy, screaming. Was great. Didn't latch, but I pumped and gave her to her in a bottle. I did try to breastfeed her for 3 days, so I did try to get her to latch, but she just could never latch really good. So this time, when it came time for induction talk, I said, yes, 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 please. I want to be induced. My blood pressure was an issue for me because it kept going up and down, but it was steadily okay. So I was worried. For some reason, I was worried for myself and for Emrey. And so I was just like, yes, let's be induced. So she picked May the 6th. We went in that morning at 5 o'clock. It was a Tuesday, I believe. So we went in that morning at 5 o'clock. She came in and broke my water about 8. That hurt so bad. It was not like that with Inslee. So I was about a 2.5 or 3 when she broke my water. So they broke my water, laid there all day, labored. And I told them as soon as I can, I would like my epidural because I have no pain tolerance, and I'm a wuss, and I would like some pain medicine. So they were like, okay. Well, they kind of waited around, and they were still, doing things to me, checking my vitals and stuff. And I said, hey, I really would like the epidural when y'all can get it. So they said, okay, we'll go order that now. So Brad was the anesthesiologist, and he came in to give my epidural. The first time I had Inslee, I think one of the girls was interning that gave me the epidural. And she did amazing. I didn't even feel the numbing shot for the epidural. This time was a nightmare. I felt the numbing shot. I felt the epidural. It felt like a stake going in my back. And then he said, oh, you're going to feel a little cramp. I was a big old cramp. And my stomach just cramped up, and it hurt so bad. So got my epidural. Got that going. My mom was allowed to be with me, so it was my mom and Tim. My dad kept Inslee. And trying to think. So I sat there and labored all day. They kept moving me from my side, each side, back and forth. And they were trying to try some different positions on me that were supposed to help dilate. So at this point, I was a 5. I stayed a 5 all day long. And so I decided, after I rested a little bit, still wasn't progressing, I decided to sit up in the bed straight up because gravity, I would think, would help, push the baby down. So I sat up in the bed, and after I did that for a little while, when they came and checked me the next time, I was a 7. So that helped a lot. And then they did nurse changes, and Emrey was moving around in my stomach all day long. Like, she was up in my ribs. She was around everywhere. So the heartbeat monitor they had her on, she really never stood still on it. So they would have to come in and adjust it all day long. But when they did the nurse swap, they could not find the heartbeat at all because she was moving so much. And every time they would find it, she would move again. So it was like a good 30 minutes or 45 minutes before they found her heartbeat to just put the monitor on there. And they were like, okay, don't move. I mean, they weren't legit telling me not to move, but they didn't want to lose it again. And they went and got me the peanut ball. The peanut ball was amazing with Inslee. It progressed me so fast. But this time, it progressed me. But, and I really believe that it did help me get to the end. But after a while, they checked me again, and I still was pretty much a 7, stayed the same. So I decided to sit up in the bed again. And a little bit before then, I had gotten a bolus of epidural, which is another little shot of it, and it bottomed my blood pressure out really bad. I started feeling faint and dizzy and just sick feeling. My blood pressure dropped very low. It was like 70 over something because I was about to pass out. So they laid me flat really quick, and I started to feel better. And so when they came to give me another bolus of epidural later on, I was okay. I just tried to lay back a little more the next time and, prepare myself, my body. So at this point, it's almost time to push. And I'm trying to think of anything else that might have happened that day. So I decided to sit up in the bed, and I started feeling pressure so bad. It felt like I needed to do a bowel movement in the bathroom ASAP. And I kept saying, it feels like I need to poop. It feels like I need to poop. And I kept telling Tim that, and he was so embarrassed. But that's what it felt like. All that pressure, I felt like I needed to go to the bathroom so bad. It hurts so bad. It was like, we need to go to the bathroom, and you can't. Nobody's letting you. So I decided to lay back a little bit. They came and gave me some more epidural at that point because I was starting to hurt a lot and feel it again. So they came and gave me another bolus of epidural. And then that was a little bit of time. And it started wearing off. Oh, I'm lying. They did not give me a bolus of epidural at that point. Because I laid back a little bit, and I felt her head go, whew. It dropped. And I thought she was coming out. And so I was like, Mom, something's wrong. So she went and got the nurse, and sure enough, it was time for me to pretty much push. She said I had a little lip that I had to push over for her head to come out. So we started doing test pushes, and she said, yeah, you're ready to go. So they went and got my doctor, started pushing, and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. And I could not breathe to push. I could not even make it to a 10. I made it to maybe a 5. I tried to make it to a 10 as much as I could, and I just could not. So that's another reason I was kind of mad at myself for gaining all that weight, because it was so hard to push, and I could not breathe. They had little handles on the bed, so I pulled the handles to pull myself up and push down as much as I could. My mom and a nurse helped me. Tim sat in the corner in a chair. I think that he was traumatized. I pretty much felt all of my contractions, all of labor. It was just enough to take the edge off. I screamed like a movie, like you see when girls have babies in movies. That's pretty much what happened to me. I screamed and screamed and screamed, and it felt like I wasn't doing anything. And the doctor tried to calm me down, and she was like, you can do this. You got to breathe. You got to calm down and just do it. And so, of course, just like with Inslee, Mom's like, she's almost here. And I was like, you told me that 30 minutes ago. She's not here yet. And she's like, no, but she really is. So, the doctor had to give me a episiotomy and cut me. And I'm pretty sure I had to be cut on the inside too. It was probably pretty bad. But anyways, cut me so her head could come out. Pushed and pushed and pushed. And while I was pushing, they were trying to find her heartbeat on the heartbeat monitor. And now that we think back to it, there was no heartbeat, or they had lost it. They were trying to find it as I was pushing. There was no heartbeat. So, she finally comes out after 30, 45 minutes of pushing, and they hold her up for me to look at her. She's not crying. She's blue, purple, gray color. She's completely limp, not breathing, nothing. So they take her over to the little bassinet baby care thing. And, they're working on her and working on me at the same time. And I just started saying to my mom, she's not fine. Something's wrong with her. Is she okay? Why is she not crying? She's not crying. She's not okay. And I just kept saying the same thing over and over because my baby was not okay. Sorry, y'all. This is probably the emotional part. But my baby was not okay. She was not breathing at all. She was completely limp. And I just remember them over there flopping her arms and her legs up and down. And there was nothing. So I couldn't look over there again. And I don't even know if Tim looked over there, but I could not look over there again. I just couldn't do it. My mom was, so she knows more of what went on. But I couldn't. I had to look at her the whole time. And it was so horrible. I don't wish that on anybody. Like my worst enemy. I don't wish that on them. So, they start working on me. And I didn't know it, but Mom said that I was bleeding pretty bad. They had buckets under me, I think. And they had rags in me trying to drop all the blood. My placenta, they said, was probably as big as her. Which I haven't looked that up and I didn't ask about it. But I'm assuming that's maybe abnormal. But they're squeezing the Pitocin back, trying to get my uterus to contract and stop bleeding and slow down. And they're working on her, and they go get the anesthesiologist. And I'm assuming Mom said she saw him do chest compressions on Emrey. She saw him do chest compressions on Emrey. And I know they bagged her and suctioned her out a lot. Because I'll tell you in a minute why I know. But they finally got me to stop bleeding. Finally, after 7 minutes at least, got her breathing. I heard this little baby kitten cry. Just the tiniest cry. And, I'm about to go get my babies. So yeah, traumatic. They gave her to me, and I started pumping because I said I want to exclusively pump this time. Did it with a hand pump. Got some colostrum out. Went to go feed her. She wouldn't swallow at all. She was holding it in her mouth. So we gave her a break for a minute. We're like, she's just been through a traumatic birth. Give her a little bit. They got me up to go to the bathroom after they pressed on my stomach to my back about 100 times to try to get me to stop bleeding. And so after we rested and, got settled down and got to our room, I decided to let them just take her to the nursery for the night because she was not swallowing at all. She was not eating, and maybe they could get her to eat because I was going to have to supplement with formula anyways because I was not pumping a lot at the beginning, which I know babies do not take a lot at the beginning. But I just wanted them to see what she was doing because she was doing this weird breathing thing where she would... And it was after all that traumatic birth, I was like, please take her to the nursery and watch her and care for her. Because I'd almost been up for 24 hours anyways, and I was so tired. So, that is our traumatic birth, pregnancy, delivery story. And now that all these women stuff are happening because of COVID, I think that COVID affected both of us during my labor and delivery and my pregnancy. Now that hindsight 2020... Now that I look back, I think that COVID definitely affected both of us. But I wanted to share a little bit of my story. We have a lot more story to share with Emrey now that she's here. We have some things going on, and I'll share with y'all a little bit more about that in a later video. I've got to go pick my babies up from school, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye, guys.